Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back with another episode of Hearthstone. We're working our way through the mini-series of rebuilding our decks after Blackrock Mountain. Hopefully we've learned a few things. Hopefully we have gained a few cards. You know, I say that every single time I do that, and come to think of it, that's kind of weird. It's making it sound like this mini-series is called that entire phrase. Anyways, I guess I'm getting repeatful. So today we're gonna do the warrior, and so let's get into the warrior instead of just rambling about things that probably don't even make any sense. Here we go, warrior. Go into crafting mode so we can see all the cards we don't have and see what the warrior is all about. Deal 1 damage to a minion, give it +2 attack. In a rage, 0 mana attack. I think in the warrior case we're going to see a lot of cards like this. They do 1 damage, they give damage to creatures, an increase in their attack, or maybe an increase in their health, but I think it's mostly attack. I think warrior's all about attacking. Here you go, shield slam, deal 1 damage for each armor you have. That would be great. I've seen people use shield slam to their advantage. Get 30 armor, then do a shield slam on your enemy. Upgrade if you have a weapon, give it +1/+1, otherwise equip a 1/3 weapon. I think that's a pretty good card because of the equipping a 1/3 weapon. I don't know if it's really worth it to spend 1 mana for +1/+1 on a weapon, but it might be worth that too. Enrage abilities. When they take damage, they become enraged. This creature has +1. So for 1 mana, after he takes 1 damage, he'd be a 2/3. Battle Rage. Draw a card for each damage friendly character. Your minions can't be reduced below 1 health this turn, and draw a card. That's a pretty good card. Commanding Shout. Rampage, give a damaged minion +3/+3. Slam, deal 2 damage to a minion. If it survives, draw a card. So we're seeing a strategies here where they deal damage and draw cards, or they deal damage and increase attack. Armor Smith. Now, if you were definitely going for the armor style deck with the warrior, you would want Armor Smith. Whenever a friendly minion takes damage, gain 1 armor. You could get a lot of armor that way. You could cause yourself to gain a lot of armor that way. Unfortunately, just don't have the card. Cruel Taskmaster. Deal 1 damage, give it +2 attack. For a creature that's only 2 mana, pretty good card. 2 mana, 2 attack, 2 health, plus it has that ability. Now, I like the Ogre War Maul here. Even though it has a 50% chance to attack the wrong enemy, it's very high attack at 4 for 3 mana and 2 uses, which is about average. It's pretty good. Bouncing Blade, I definitely have this in my deck if I could. It does 1 damage to a random minion, and then it just keeps doing that to the next few random minions until 1 minion dies. You could do potentially an unlimited amount of damage with this. Well, there is going to be a limit, but it could be very, very high. Frothing Berserker, whenever a minion takes damage, gain 1 attack. Okay. Deal 4 damage unless you have 12 or less health, then deal 6 damage. Mortal Strike, pretty good card. Again, I don't have it. Here's one that's a consideration here. It's 4 mana. It has a battle cry that equips a 2/2 weapon, 3 attack, 3 health. Also, is this like the first org? Female? What are these? Ogres? Are these ogres? In World of Warcraft there's specific ones, and they might be goblins or they might be ogres or orcs. I think they're orcs, but I've never seen a female orc in any of the other cards. So that's interesting to me for my own weird reasons. If anybody knows any other female orc artwork that shows up, let me know. Or maybe if this is a special character. Anyways, I'll stop talking about that. 4 mana Screwjank Clunker gives a friendly mech +2/+2. So you could try a mech deck here. It's kind of expensive at 4 mana though for a 2/5. And I think that's about the only mech we've seen as far as a warrior. Well, this is a mech too, so. Yeah, there's 2 mechs in there. You could do a mech deck. I wouldn't particularly be in the mindset to do it though. Need some more mechs if you're gonna do a warrior mech deck. Brawl, destroy all minions except one chosen randomly. For 5 mana, this might be good, but it might not. Since it's only going to destroy minions, it's not really doing damage to the minions or damage to the face. Even at 5 mana, which is kind of cheap to get rid of a bunch of minions, it's not really great. And it's on all the minions on both sides. It's really random. Siege Engine, whenever you gain armor, this minion give this minion +1 attack. Probably would want this in an armor deck. Almost certainly would want it in the deck. Iron Juggernaut, when it's summoned, shuffles a mine into the opponent's deck. When the mine is drawn, it explodes for 10 damage. That's pretty powerful for 6 mana, but it's also very random. Both of these are mechs too, so I guess if you had those 2 and the other mechs, you might at that point be there. To the point of doing a warrior mech deck, it's still kind of low. Here we have a battle cry of gain 5 armor. Let's see. The antique heal bot is 5 mana to regain 8 health. Compared to that, this is a little expensive for 6 mana for a 5/5 to gain 5 armor, but you might do it if you're doing an armor deck. Here you have the Gore Howl, that attacking a minion uses 1 attack instead of durability. So as long as you only use this to attack minions, you can progressively attack up to 7 minions. But if you attack the face, well then you'd only do 7 damage. And for 7 mana, I think that's a little too expensive. Here you have Crush, destroy a minion. If you have a damaged minion, this costs 4 less, so that's 3. Probably not a great card. And then you have the highest one is Gromoth Hellscream. He has charge, he has an enrage of +6 attack, which is just crazy. For 8 mana, he's pretty good. I'd have him in my deck. Sure, why not? He starts off at a 4/9, do 1 damage to him, he's a 10/9. And so let's look at the neutral cards and kind of look there. I can't believe I don't have target dummy, even. I need to get that. So here's an enrage card. There's a lot of enrage cards that might work well in a deck. You might try the Abusive Sergeant because it does +2 attack. That's kind of in the same idea. You might try for some of these other mechs, but I'm not going to point out all the mechs. I wouldn't do a Pirate, I really wouldn't do a Murlocs. You could try things that work well with the mechs. And I think mechs alone could work in pretty much any hero's deck, but they're not really going to work that well with the Warrior. The Warrior seems to be very much about getting armor and increasing attack. So you'd want to get some of these enraged creatures. It wouldn't surprise me if there was like a Berserker class that came out with that did more things with that. Annoyatron probably would work pretty good because you're going to end up damaging your own guys a lot of times, so having a Divine Shield to protect the Annoyatron might help. Swap the attack and the health of a minion, probably wouldn't work that well. That's the Crazed Alchemist I'm talking about. Probably wouldn't work that well. You could put the Bloodsail Raider in here and then have the 7 mana 7 attack creature, and then this would be a 9/3, but you'd have to do that basically on your 9th turn, so that'd be kind of hard. Summon a minion, deal 2 damage. You might have Knife Juggler. Always consider the Owl. The Owl is almost always a good idea. Death Rattle, do 2 damage to all minions. Definitely a consideration. because you want to enrage all your guys. Mad Bomber. This is actually where the Mad Bomber and the Madder Bomber and the Maddest Bomber, or whatever the third one's called, we'll look at them. Kind of makes sense because it's randomly split between all other characters. So you might enrage your own guys, you might do damage to your enemy. At the end of your turn with the Master Swordsmith, give +1 attack. That works in that style of a deck. Let's see. I don't think I like Recombobulator. I don't think I'd ever use it, really. Whenever you cast a spell, deal 1 damage to all minions. That might work. I would use Sun Fury Protector in a lot of decks if I could. I would definitely use it more than Defender of Argus because it's just cheaper. It's at 2 mana where Defender of Argus is 4 mana. Acolyte of Pain makes a lot of sense to be in the deck. Let's see. What else would we choose? Whenever a minion dies, gain 1 attack. You might have the Flesh-Eating Ghoul in your deck. Let's see. What else? What other cards would we choose? Whenever you play a 1 attack minion, give it +2/+2. The Hobgoblin is kind of unique. If you're gonna play the Hobgoblin, you're gonna probably want like a Murloc deck or something with a lot of really only 1 attack creatures. Imp Master, no, I wouldn't use that. Here you have the Injured Blade Master. You definitely put something like that in your deck because he's another injured creature that would then turn around and be helpful towards other cards that say like draw 1 card for every injured creature. You might also put him in like a priest deck because he deals 4 damage to himself. You heal him back up, he's a 7. You put some, double his health to 14, double his health again to 28, and then turn his health into, turn his attack to equal his health. You've got a 28 for 3. So you might put that in a priest deck strategy. If you go back a couple episodes and look at my priest deck, that's definitely a thought. Cheap. Ogre Brute, definitely for the same reason. I don't worry too much about the 50% chance of hitting the wrong enemy. Whatever, he's cheap. He's 3 mana, 4/4. Questing Adventurer, always a thought. You're gonna play a lot of cards. Raging Worgen, definitely a thought that you would want in there. He has Wind Fury +1 attack, which means he can attack twice. So in 1 turn, he could potentially do 8 damage, which is quite a lot actually. For 3 mana, here you go. The Torn Warrior, taunt with an enrage of +3. Very cheap to become 5/3. You might try some more Wind Fury things. Maybe not. Just depends on what cards you have. If you're a newer player and you don't have half the cards I'm pointing out, sorry. It's kind of hard. It's really hard at the beginning, actually. I mean, it's not kind of. It's just really hard. I've played for a year, and it does wear on you how difficult it is with just the default cards. Defender of Argus, here we go. For 4 mana, give the adjacent minions +1/+1 and taunt. I would definitely take the 2 mana version of this that doesn't give the +1, just gives them taunt, over Defender of Argus if I had that card. Let's see. Enhanced Zone Mechanical, you definitely consider this in any deck. It would work in a warrior deck. Jeeves might work in a warrior deck too. They all do their own little things. The Mugen-san Warden here is a consideration for the warrior because he has such high defense, so he'll probably be a damaged creature. He's also a consideration for the same reason as a character in the priest deck if you can't get anything better. I very rarely play cards that just have taunt or don't do anything else. Anti-Keelbot. restore 8 health to your hero. I think this is actually probably a better card to have in your deck than to have the one that gives you 5 armor. Abomination, do damage to all 2 damage to all creatures. I would have that in the warrior deck if you're trying to do a minion damage type warrior deck. Bomb Lava, deal 4 damage to a random enemy. So Bomb Lava isn't really in the series, but seems to be. But it does something different. It deals 4 damage to a random enemy minion, where Matter Bomber does more damage to separate it out. Battlecry, give your weapon +1/+1. You might use that. Faceless Manipulator, always a consideration if you have it. Elite Tauren Chieftain is a consideration. Equip a random weapon for each player. Maybe, maybe not. I think the Blingtron 3000 is probably not something you really want to play. Harrison Jones. Harrison Jones is always a consideration. Junkbot, if you were doing the mech deck, maybe. Leroy Jenkins, always a consideration. Here we are. Matter Bomber. So the first one was Mad Bomber that did like 4 damage split between enemies. Matter Bomber does 6 damage. And I think there might be a third one, but maybe not. There may just be 2. Spiteful Smith with its enrage option, definitely a consideration in a warrior deck. Let's see, what else? What else would we consider? Harger, you might consider it always, but nothing really in the warrior deck that really works that well. Here we go, Mogar the Ogre. If you're gonna play more just an ogre deck in general, again, he's cheap at 6 mana. You can't read it, but it says 6 mana here. For a 7/6, that's pretty cheap. Let's see, what else do we have? Take control. You might just go for a Wind Fury deck. I mean, you could have all Wind Fury cards in your deck, and that might overwhelm a lot of players. Baron Geddon, he would work. At the end of your turn, deal 2 damage to all other characters. He's kind of the ultimate version of dealing damage to all of it. Dr. Boom, probably a smart card. Foe Reaper 4000 is a consideration. Definitely. At the end of your turn, with the Gruul, it gives +1/+1. He's definitely always a consideration. So is Ragnaros. A lot of these legendary ones would work just as well in anything. Let's see. Do any of these really work with the warriors specifically? I don't think so that much. Deathwing, you might consider the Deathwing. And one of these giants, let's see. The Molten Giant costs 1 less for each damage your hero has taken. It's possible you could do that, but he starts at 20, so you have to take at least 10 damage. Well, you have to take at least 10 damage, but I think it actually is you have to be not heal either. So it's not a matter of just like if you've taken 10 damage and healed 10 damage, it would be 10. I think you have actually to be at 20 starting from 30 life points for it to get to 10. So at 20 life points, it would be if you only had 10 life points left, it would be free, which is way too late in the game to be summoning the Molten Giant. So let me show you what I chose on my warrior deck. Again, I'm using the overlay program to show me what I did. I'm not particularly super happy with what I ended up with, but can't really think of anything better off the top of my head, so I'll stick with it and experiment with it. So I took 2 inner ranges, deal 1 damage to a minion, give it +2 attack. then I took a whirlwind, and then I took another whirlwind, and then my first neutral card, Blackrock Mountain card, Dragon Egg. Whenever this minion takes damage, summon a 2/1 whelp. Take 2 of those. And then I took the Warbot, which I believe is a warrior. Here it is. 2 of those. And then Rampage. Let's see. Give him damage minion +3/+3. Alright. So the next one I took was the Amari Berserker, which I believe is a... Let's see, where is he? Where is the Berserker? He's a 2 thing, starting with A. Here he is. The Amani Berserker, Enrage a creature. I have 1 of those. And then Cruel Taskmaster starts with C, and I believe he's a warrior creature. I only have 1 of those. A lot of cards I only have 1 of. And then I chose some pretty standard ones of the Owl and the... There's the Owl and the Acolyte of Pain. Let's see. Which is a 3-mana creature. So, only have 1 of each of those cards. And then Frothing Berserker is the next thing. Let's see. Which must be a warrior creature. Come on, where is it? It's a 3-mana, starts with F. Where has it gone? I know it's here. It might be a consideration to do the Nebula and Egg. That's definitely something you might think about, but I didn't choose it. Let's see. There's Flesh Eating Ghoul, and then where's Frothing Berserker? I don't see it. How can I not have the card? Am I just not seeing it? I guess maybe my program messed up on me because I'm not seeing a Frothing Berserker as an option at all. So I'll leave that to whatever. Since I can't find it, that's fine. I had a mind to change a few things anyways. Should be right here if it was going to be anywhere. If we... Well, you know what? I don't really have to do this. I can just type in the name. Yeah, that works fine. But yeah, it's not here. It's not showing up in any of my cards. Interesting. Very interesting. Maybe the card got removed. Maybe there's been an update and they got rid of it. It was a... According to my program, it's a 3-mana, 2 attack, 4 health. Whenever a minion takes damage, gain +1 attack. Whatever. Let's move on. We're looking for the Raging Worgen. Let's see. It is a 3-mana... creature. That is very strange. idea what went there. So, Raging Worgen, I have one of those. A Torn Warrior, I took 2 of those. They are... Oh, that's a neutral one too. I keep flipping back and forth. Let's see, here we are, Taurine Warrior. Taunt, Enrage, plus 3 attack, that makes sense. And then Axe Flinger, let's see if that's a regular one. I don't believe it is. If they did take that card out, they did it within like 1 day. Because I only made this deck like a day ago. Otherwise my program messed up. Axe Flinger, whenever this minion takes damage, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. That's fine. I probably messed up the program, I bet. That's what I did. Axe Flinger is quite unique though. Whenever this minion takes damage, it deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. So this is the only creature I have that is doing any direct attack like that. So next card we chose was the standard Defender of Argus choice, which I like having it in the deck. And then I took a strange choice that I'm experimenting with. It is the Dragonkin Sorcerer from Blackrock Mountain. Whenever you target this minion with a spell, gain +1/+1. Now I don't have a ton of spells. I have Inner Rage that will do it, and Rampage that will do it, and that is it. So 2 Inner Rages and 2 Rampages, and that's the only cards that work with the Dragon Sorcerer. So probably not the best thing to have those in the deck anyways, but I will look over and consider it. Next one I took was the Antique Healbot, and just restore that health. I'm having that mostly in my deck because it irritates the other players, because it irritates me, so I assume it irritates other players. The Bomb Lobbers, I don't think worth it to have in the deck. Grim Patron, another experiment. That's the next card I'm using. Whenever this minion survives damage, summon another Grim Patron. That's great. I put 2 of those in my deck. I'm gonna also put 2 of the Berserker here in my deck. I didn't have it by default, but I'm going to make some executive decisions right now and just start working on this deck a little bit better, because it's missing some things and it's needs some work. So what I had before was Crush here, destroy a minion, cost 4 less. I guess I'll keep that in the deck, but let's see. What is with this? I'm already up to 30. How did I get up to 30? What did I add? Well, I had Crush in my card deck and somehow, and then I had Chromagus. So don't know how I'm at 30 now. It seems like something's messing up here. Oh, I had 1 Antique Healbot instead of 2 in my deck. And so then the other thing I had was Chromagus. So now I want to make some changes though. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Dragonkin Sorcerer out. It doesn't work as well. as I would like. And I might take Axe Flinger out. I might take Deflesh Eating Ghoul out. I think I probably want a weapon in. We'll put 2 Death Bites in here. That's pretty good. And then let's look at the warrior cards that we didn't choose. We don't have any Battle Rage, which I think we probably should have a Battle Rage in here. So let's get rid of the Flesh Eating Ghoul and put Battle Rage in. That way we can draw cards. Let's see what else. Revenge. Deal 1 damage to all minions. I have so many of those. Let's see. I'm gonna take Axe Flinger out and put in Revenge. And I think that's what I want to stick with. So we're very much focused on just doing damage to ourselves and getting that rage up. There's some more cards within rage. Don't ever really choose the Angry Chicken because it does get +5 attack on when enraged, but you would have to give it some extra health because you have to get it up to 2 health, then do 1 damage, and then it would just be a 6/1 for 1 minute. It's real difficult type card to play. Of course, if you played this with an ogre that gave it +2, 2 plus 2, it would be a 3/3, then you could rage it. So there definitely is a strategy there. Anyways, let's try out the warrior deck. The new warrior deck that I just built off the top of my head. No fooling. And we only have 2 more episodes after this, the mage and the paladin, which we'll go through a little bit faster because both of them are already at max level. And even the priest, which is what I'm working on now, is almost 10 levels up from where it started. And most of these are around 30, 32. So maybe he's only 6 levels up really. But I'll probably have him at 60 eventually, although I'm not going to be playing as much. Anyway, let's get into the warrior game. Let's play a game. Let's play some Hearthstone. These deck rebuild episodes are a bit unique. They help me in very specific ways because there is kind of a limitedness of the number of episodes I can make for Hearthstone. I can't just because of the quest system and how everything works. I could just play it more and make more episodes, yes, but I don't really want to spend my time on that if it's not going to get me anything but maybe 10 gold. Even when I'm playing Hearthstone offline and not recording, it's a totally different experience than playing Hearthstone online and oh man, I wasted the coin. Oh, this stinks. Anyways, so this is 0 mana. I thought it was 1 mana. Deal 1 damage to a minion, give it +2 attack. That's great. So now I have 2 1s. If this guy dies, I'll still have 2 1s. 2 1s. Double the 2 1s because of the black whelps. But yeah, when I record, I have to talk for an hour. I have to play for. Well, it doesn't have to be an hour. I have to talk for a while, and I have to play for a while, and all of that really doesn't let's see. This is just great. This is working out excellent because I gave it 3/3. I can give it more attack and summon more. Wow, I'm gonna win by an egg. What a way to win. Win by dragon egg. Oh, I'm seeing strategy here. And he's getting overwhelmed. draw a card for each damage friendly character. Don't have any of those, so I'll just smash your face. Wow, 4th turn and he's down to 18. That's pretty good. I'm liking this deck better already.
Stop yelling!
So this guy here is, whenever this minion takes damage, it summons a 1/1 imp. Very much in the concept of how I have it, of how my deck. I don't want to play this because it would kill this guy and it would summon a 1/1 imp. No reason to do that. So this one is whenever it takes damage, not survives damage.
Why do you
So we'll summon a 2/1 even if it's destroyed. Alright, so if I get down to 12 or less health, I could potentially use these and do 3 damage to everybody, but I have to get down to that point first, and with 6 armor and 30 health, it's gonna be kind of difficult for him to get me down that one. Oh, +5 for that. That's pretty good. Here we go, we gotta silence this one. Deal 1 damage to all minions. No, not ready. So this is draw a card for each damage friendly character. So if this one's damaged by 1 and this one's damaged, that would be 2 cards. See how this is written too is it says draw a card for each damage friendly character, but there certainly could be a card where that means both sides draw a card for each of their damage friendly characters. But that's not what this really means. It needs to be slightly rewritten. Alright, he's life tapping. Am I below 12? Nope.
Battle detected.
He has 14 cards versus my 19. So if you can get me below 12, then I can play 2 Revenges. But he has to get me below 12, and he's not really doing that. He's taking his sweet time to do it. I suppose I'm just proving too difficult an opponent.
You are not prepared!
Alright. Well, he's not going to get me down below 12, but I don't think I need that anymore. Play this. And then we'll play this. We'll add armor. And then I could draw a card for 2 mana, but it would just be 1 card. Now, whenever you play a card, summon a 2/1 Azenroth, Flame of Azenroth.
Stop yelling!
Let's see, what do we want to do? Let's draw a card.
Your soul shall suffer! Back to work!
end our turn. He's down to 9 cards, but I'm feeling he has a better advantage with 4 characters and that many cards in his hand. I really do like this deck, even if I lose. I'm just gonna go on record of I really do like it. If I just had one more way to do damage to, like 2 damage to everybody, that would be great. But he's getting so powerful. He's got 15 between just those 2 guys. There's the well played, and we lost. I made that go for a while though. That wasn't a quick victory for our opponent. That was pretty difficult. Let's do one more game, then we'll call it an end of an episode. I do like this deck. It probably needs some more tweaking. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. But yeah, I like this deck better than what I had. It's a little bit more thought out. All of these decks that I've built to this point, I know I didn't have these cards when I first started, and I'm pretty sure most people, if they were starting Hearthstone today, would not have these cards. And I don't even have that many good cards, but I have a couple that are slightly better than the starting collection. So if you can't make a deck like mine, sorry, try your best. Do your best with what you've got. Play a lot of Hearthstone is really all you can do about it. Eventually, through playing a lot of Hearthstone and doing the quests, you'll get 150 gold, and when you have 150 gold, you go do an arena run. And even if you just lose the first 3 games in a row on the arena run, which you might, or very likely will, at least a few times, the arena run will give you a pack, a classic pack or Goblins vs. Gnomes pack of new cards. So it's a better deal. Usually you'll get a pack of cards in at least 30 gold, whereas if you just go buy a pack alone, it would cost 100 gold. So you're only paying 20 gold to play the arena run, and if you get a few victories, you're almost guaranteed that you're going to get more than the 150 that you put in, and start actually profiting from playing arena runs. And if for some lucky way you can get to like 12 victories, you're gonna double, triple, or quadruple the amount of gold that they introduce. You'll start, if you get good enough that you can start doing things like that, you will definitely. Oh, is this gonna save me? Job done. I needed to kill that guy, for sure. This one's giving everybody charge. Kill my guy. That kills everything else. Warrior versus warrior here. I think he's got some better cards than me. Maybe a slightly better strategy. Let's play this. Done. That'll at least cost him something. I probably should play Battle Rage next turn, just to draw 2 more cards. Now, with the warrior you have this problem of execute, where your opponent is going to be doing damage to his own guys, and then you can just play execute to kill him. Which is pain. Here we go. Deal 3 damage to him. Draw a card.
done.
So I'm up to 7 health. Looks like I'm gonna lose this one too. Maybe I should get rid of revenge. Doesn't seem like it works as well as I thought.
Back to work.
Let's see. Play this. Play that one. Play this to get rid of that one. Play this to get rid of that one. I'm basically lost. I should have given myself some armor.
Mana. Well played.
Oops. If I'd given myself armor, I would have survived one more turn. But he probably could have won anyways. Well, I do like this deck. It needs some tweaking, obviously. 2 losses in a row, notwithstanding, but I do like it, and it's something new, something unique. Went up a level, that's always great. Getting these gold back cards, even though I'm not using them. So now we're just gonna, next episode, do the mage. The mage is the first deck you should play with, so I'll show you what I've done with it. That one's the one that's going to have gone the furthest distance from the very first time I built a deck for the mage and now. It's also my first character that got to max level. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps me out. If you want to support me, there's 2 ways. One is clicking on my name, Rydo. On the right is a blue button that says support this channel. The other way is clicking on the Amazon.com affiliate link in the description and shopping normally. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media, all that information is also down below in the description. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.